Hello. Happy Wednesday. All right. Here we are. I went live. Yes. Okay. So you should be able to hear me. I went live a minute ago, and as per usual, I forgot to click the power button on my mic. So hopefully y'all can hear me now. Here we go. Okay. So um today I wanted to check in with you on a few things and share some insights with you. Um, and, you know, are you ready? Are you ready to end this tyranny of weight loss for the rest of your life? Right? Feeling like food has some kind of power over you, because it does not, my loves. You have all the power. You just need to understand the why, right? That's what I teach my clients. Like, what is the cause of our symptom of overeating and overweight? Okay, so let's jump into how are you doing with your future self? So our very first day, I think it was our first day, we talked about creating your future self, right? Um, who is she? How does she feel? Like, what's going on with her? What's she doing in her life? How is she thinking and feeling? How is she being in the world? What does she feel around her? What are the sights and the smells and the textures and the flavors, all the things, right? And so one thing I wanted to share with you is I've done an exercise of how do I want to feel in the future? What does my future self feel like? And I listed all the emotions that my future self will be feeling, right? And in conjunction with those emotions, I created the thought I would be thinking to feel those feelings. Okay. And here's the key, you guys. I mean, this is like the key to everything. You need to be thinking and feeling that way now in order to move forward to meet your future self. You need to be her now or him or they now. That's who you need to be now, right? So when I was thinking about how do I want to feel in my future, so one of the feelings would be abundant. I want to feel abundant. My thought is I have everything I need and want. And when I can really drop into that in this moment, now in my present self, feel abundant. When I'm feeling abundant, feels pretty amazing. Like I can step out of like the worry or stress or scarcity that might come up with thoughts. Maybe I'm thinking about something. Um, Free was a feeling my future self feels. And my thought was I go where I want, I do what I want, I feel what I want. I can already think that today, right? So I get to feel free. Um, Peaceful. I'm in charge of my emotions and my thoughts, and I choose peace. Um, so confident. I can do anything I decide to do, right? Totally. I can do anything I decide to do. So when I can drop into those emotions and then think those thoughts and really believe them in my bones, right? There's nothing we can't do. So I just wanted to share that little piece of the exercise with you. And I'd love for you to do something like that for yourself. How do I want to feel? How does my future self feel? What is she thinking and feeling in the world? And understand and believe you get to think and feel that way now. And that is what's going to bring you to your future self. Okay. All right. So that's what I have on that. Let's see. Was I gonna talk about anything else? Oh, just some little things to think about. Like don't compare your beginning to someone else's end or someone else's middle, I should say. So if you're maybe just beginning a journey into thought work or weight loss or self-confidence or building a business or whatever it is, don't compare yourself to somebody else's middle. They've started the path. They've moved forward, right? And we're all in different places on our journey. So don't use somebody else's like where they're at on their journey to beat yourself up. Okay? Don't do that. Have it. Okay, so in your daily work, when you are doing your food protocol or deciding what you want to eat or working your business or whatever it might be for you, ask yourself, what is one step I can take today to meet my future self? Right? What is 1% level up that I can do today to get me that much closer to my goal? Okay. Dropping into your future self every morning, like really being her now, right? Right now, you're building the foundation of who you are going to be in the future. So what does that foundation, what does the foundation of that look like for you today? What do you need to be thinking and feeling today to really build that foundation? Okay. So, all right. Well, I'm just going to jump into what I actually was going to talk about, which is fine. Um, Remember, I was going to read this book, Essentialism, right? I had posted about that a little while ago and how I was going to read a new book every couple weeks. And I had read this book, but I didn't follow up on it with you. So I went back in with the eye and with the mind of taking the principles of this book, Essentialism, the disciplined pursuit of less by Greg McKeown, and see how they apply to like the work you might be doing with weight loss, right? And if you're not working this month with us on losing weight, this essentialism, it's something that you can take with you into any area of your life. So he describes essentialism as is a disciplined, systematic approach for determining where our highest point of contribution lies, and then making execution of those things almost effortless. Okay, so think about that. The disciplined, systematic approach for determining where our highest point of contribution lies, then making execution of those things almost effortless. So when I think of this in terms of weight loss, the very first thing is stop spending so much mental energy and time spinning in self-doubt and judgments, self-loathing, talking all kinds of shit to ourselves, right? Spending all the time searching outside of ourselves for answers on how we can change the way we eat, finding diets, looking for that next thing that's going to help us, right? These are all the things we do not do in this group. So when you're thinking about that, take out all that mental clutter, all that mental energy you use focused on your food and your weight and hating your body and thinking about your clothes and all of that stuff. Okay. So the disciplined pursuit. All right. The disciplined systematic approach for determining where our highest point of contribution lies. So if you're thinking of it in the terms of our highest point of contribution to ourselves and to our future selves, you want to be disciplined and systematic. And we talk about the food protocol. Those words just sound so restrictive, but actually it opens you up to so much freedom. And then the last piece of that, then making execution of those things almost effortless. That's what I work on with my clients, is rewiring your brain so that weight loss is effortless. Effortless, you guys, right? So learning to manage your mind around food and your body. And I love this. So he's got, like, in the very first few pages of the book, he's got the model here, which I love because my coaching practice is based on a model itself, right? So he's got this in columns, the way a non-essentialist thinks, does, and gets. So the things they think and feel, the things they do, and then the results they create, and then an essentialist. Okay. So the first thing is a non-essentialist thinks I have to. And an essentialist thinks I choose to. And that's the language we use around food, right? If you think I have to plan, and I have to restrict, and I have to eat vegetables, I have to eat foods I hate, right? When you change that into I choose to plan for my future self, I choose to eat foods that fuel my body, I choose to eat vegetables and other foods, I choose to try new foods, maybe. A non-essentialist thinks it's all important. An essentialist thinks only a few things really matter. So a non-essentialist would think, I have to try all the diets, the answers outside of myself, right? It's all important. Consuming information in this case, right? Maybe it's food. It's all important. A donut is just as important as a salad, right? An essentialist thinks only a few things really matter, right? So a few things that really matter, I mean, the basics we talk about, setting a protocol, and then eating only that and managing your mind. That's it. That's all it is. A little bit of investigative work, a little bit of the scientific method, right? So a non-essentialist thinks, how can I fit it all in? An essentialist thinks, what are the trade-offs? Okay. So instead of feeling scarcity around food and like, I need to eat 3 meals a day and 2 snacks, and I need to have all these calories and I got to fit it all in, an essentialist would think, what are the trade-offs? Do I want to become my future self who isn't controlled by food? Or do I want to shove a ding dong in my mouth right now? Right? What are the trade-offs? Short-term pleasure for long-term joy, right? So in the does column, a non-essentialist, the undisciplined pursuit of more, an essentialist is the disciplined pursuit of less, okay? So an essentialist reacts to what's most pressing, and an essentialist pauses to discern what really matters, right? So let's think about this. You get this feeling of hunger, and a non-essentialist in this case would start to panic, and your brain starts to tell you you're going to die if you don't grab that donut in the break room or make a run through McDonald's, right? You can't possibly wait a couple more hours till dinner. An essentialist would pause and realize hunger is not a problem, right? My body knows how to dine in, and I can totally wait a couple more hours before I eat, right? So, in a non-essentialist says yes to people without really thinking. An essentialist says no to everything except the essential. So, if we want to think about weight loss with this, saying yes to people without really thinking. So, you think about like at Thanksgiving, you've got great Aunt Betty telling you to eat her pumpkin pie, or she's going to be upset and hurt, right? Maybe you just eat it just to make Aunt Betty feel better. But an essentialist would pause and discern if their future self is more important to them or to let Aunt Betty feel however she's going to feel. Because, newsflash, Aunt Betty has agency over her own thoughts and feelings, just like you do. What? We cannot control other people's thoughts and feelings. That's a whole different class, but that's what we're talking about here. Okay. An essentialist would decide, pause, and discern if they have eaten and are satisfied, and deciding not to stuff themselves just because it's a holiday or because Aunt Betty wants to push her pumpkin pie on you. So, a non essentialist tries to force execution at the last moment. An essentialist removes obstacles to make execution easy. So, I was thinking about that one, and I'm like, okay, so if a non-essentialist tries to force execution at the last moment, that made me think of not planning ahead, right? You decide, on Sunday you're not going to go grocery shopping, and you're not going to make a plan because you want to watch some Netflix or something. So you're just going to end up grabbing last minute crap on the go, right? Or you can be an essentialist who honors her time and makes sure to plan ahead and go shopping and do the food prep and whatever that looks like for you. It's being when you're more disciplined with your time and in service to your future self, you are so much more free. I used to think like discipline and putting things in my calendar and having to adhere to my calendar was so oppressive, but it's not. It's you creating a plan for yourself to give yourself all that extra freedom that you want to enjoy. Let's see. 1 second. Let me check. Oh, I love this. Okay. Sorry, got distracted on checking on something. So let's go on to a non-essentialist lives a life that does not satisfy. An essentialist lives a life that really matters. Okay. Whew, that's how I felt after. That's where I found life coaching after I went through cancer. And I was like, okay, back to life. And I'm like, wait a minute, that life was not satisfying. I want to live a life that really matters and that's really satisfying and fulfilling and amazing. So that's when I really started on this journey. So, and a non-essentialist takes on too much and work suffers. An essentialist chooses carefully in order to do great work, right? So if you're thinking in terms of weight loss, let's say, takes on too much and work suffers. Like maybe you're just too busy to write your protocol instead of choosing carefully in order to create this amazing future self and this current life as well, right? That you want to live. A non-essentialist feels out of control. An essentialist feels in control, right? We don't want to feel out of control around our food. So you have to feel in control to manage your emotions, manage how you feel, how you act around food, right? And then you feel so much more in control. A non-essentialist is unsure of whether the right things get done. An essentialist gets the right things done. You guys, worry pretends to be necessary, first of all. Like you never need to worry. So many of us spin in confusion and all the indulgent emotions, right? You can just decide that you're going to do something and just get it done. You can coach yourself through it, or you can Whoops, I was probably clanking on that. You can coach yourself through it, or you can just decide, I'm going to do this today. Right? Like the negative emotions can come in and the negative thoughts, they can sit in a chair in the corner, right? But you're taking charge and you get things done. And then a non-essentialist feels overwhelmed and exhausted. An essentialist experiences joy in the journey. Excuse me. So my program is about eliminating that feeling of overwhelmed and exhausted and restriction and willpower, right? It's has nothing to do with willpower or overwhelm or exhaustion or any of that. My program, losing weight for the last time, you get to experience joy in the journey, right? You get to decide, you get to choose how you want to think and feel along this journey. And like I said in the beginning, what is your future self going to be experiencing joy? If she is, you need to feel that way now. You need to think that way now to create feelings of joy, right? When you're feeling joyful, you're not as inclined to dive face first in a big plate of nachos at the end of the day, right? As if you were feeling overwhelmed and exhausted at the end of the day. Think about that. We just think it's not optional. We think, yeah, I'm overwhelmed and exhausted and stressed. My work is terrible, or my spouse is just driving me crazy, right? If you have been paying attention and you know the model, anytime you catch yourself attributing your F line to your C line, that's a thought error, my friend. That's a big time thought error. And we often just think we're reporting the news when we talk about our jobs or our spouses or our kids or our friends or the people out there in the world, right? When you can learn to separate the facts from your thoughts and then realize, oh, I was attributing my feeling of overwhelm to my to-do list in the C line. When you can recognize, oh, that's just neutral. I was feeling overwhelmed because I was thinking like, oh, it's too much. I can't possibly do it. Whatever it might be, whatever thought is creating that feeling of overwhelm for you. Then you can take ownership. Then you can take your power back. So it's like that with food. You think seeing the Oreos causes you to feel an urge or desire or powerless. It's not it, my friend. It is not it. It is your thought that creates the urge about the Oreos. The Oreos are just neutral. I could walk into a room. The goal is to walk into a room stacked ceiling high with bags of Oreos and just be calm and peaceful, whether I'm experiencing an urge or not, recognizing it's my thought about the Oreo that's creating an urge. Oh, I see that I'm feeling an urge. I am willing to experience an urge, and that's okay. I don't have to react to it, and I don't have to resist it with willpower. So, this work gives you so much more power over yourself, so much more just agency. You all have agency over how you want to think and feel. We don't have control if, Aunt Betty, I can't remember, if Aunt Betty brings pumpkin pie to Thanksgiving, but we can decide what we want to think about it. It's not Aunt Betty's fault. She's just home baking pumpkin pies, right? She wants you to eat them because to her, you eating her pie feels like love. It's just her thought about it, okay? You get to have your own thoughts. All right. So it's a really good book. I recommend it. The next one I am working on reading. Oh, And I've read it before, but I wanted to read it again. It's called You Can Heal Your Life, Louise Hay. And it's amazing. So I'm going to be reading that. That is what I'm working. I'm actually about a quarter of the way through. So we can talk about that next time. Let's see. All right, you guys. I so enjoy these Wednesdays at 4, and I know a lot of you catch it on the replay, so that's totally cool. And I started them at 4 because it was right after my certification classes on Wednesday. I had class and a lot of things up until 4, but I may decide to start changing them to a different time. We'll see. So I love you. I love you all, and wish you well, and I will see you tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye.